Right now, we're going to talk to the director of the Florida CVA, Jimmy T. Smith. He is going to talk about a non-response, really, from the VA to a FOIA request to show a lack of commitment to transparency. Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, good morning, and thank you for allowing me to come on today.
You're very welcome. Thanks for being here. When they first sent it to me, I thought it said Jimmy Smith's, and I was like, "You're crapping me." No, it's Smith, and I was kind of glad because you're far more attractive than he is. Just saying.
Well, thank you very much for that. Yes, it's one of those things. I'd love to have the money, but I like who I am.
Yeah, I'd rather be you anyway. Okay, so tell us what happened. You did a FOIA request with the Concerned Veterans for America group. What were you FOIA-ing?
Okay, first and foremost, I want to make sure it's clear that the Americans for Prosperity Foundation did the FOIA. Okay,
oh, okay,
so
gotcha.
This foundation is a sister organization that we work closely with, and they did the FOIA request. And what we are trying to do is get the information in reference to the wait time calculation data and the management of the community care referrals. Because what we're finding is that we're being told out in the streets by veterans who are going to the community cares program that they're not getting the care they earn because the referrals are happening outside of the law. So
okay.
The Americans for Prosperity Foundation specifically sent a FOIA request that is asking for the data in reference to the VA Mission Act 2018 and the Veterans Community Care Program. It's a little bit of a tongue twister. Through the request, they're trying to find out because there's reason to doubt the VA is being transparent in its calculation of maintenance of the wait times and the management of community care's referrals. And what this means is that potentially in 2014, as an example, there were veterans who died because they were not getting the care they earned. So if there's data that's maybe predictive of veterans who are potentially going to die from not getting the care they earned, the Americans for Prosperity Foundation and Concerned Veterans for America Foundation also want to know, and that's why we sent it to 4 different states, because we are finding this problem isn't just a Florida issue. It's in it's across the nation, but we sent it to Florida, Arizona, Montana, and West Virginia.
And why did you pick those 4, though? Were they just drawn out of a hat, or is that where you see the most likelihood?
So we have a website called My VA Story, and at My VA Story, veterans can go there and demonstrate their challenges with the VA system. And this allows them to tell us who's having issues where, and this is where we have found the issues to be most predominant. Not saying it isn't across the nation as a whole, but we do find that, Florida, because it has 1.6 million veterans, is definitely easily identifiable at several locations that I personally know individuals that, as a matter of fact, I talked to somebody today, they called for an appointment. The doctor told them, well, it's going to be more than 20 days. By law, they're required to say, or you can use the community cares program. They didn't do that. So there's a whole problem of not fully implementing the Mission Act and not fully following the law to the community cares program. And this FOIA request subsequently led to a lawsuit that this Tuesday, the Americans for Prosperity Foundation sued the VA. And that's because it is literally that serious to where we need to know, are veterans having appointments that are taking too long to get, and potentially does this lead to the death of a veteran? And I'll give you a quick example. If you are somebody who has PTSD or TBI, okay, and TBI being traumatic brain injury from conflicts, and you are having mental health issues, you by law are supposed to be able to get the community cares program and seek access in the VA or outside of the VA if the appointment takes more than 20 days, or if that appointment for your mental health program takes more than 30 minutes drive time to get to. But we don't know how many veterans potentially have committed suicide because they have not been able to get access in a timely manner through the VA.
Well, let me just say that if I'm thinking about committing suicide because of PTSD or otherwise, 20 days is a long time to wait. That's a long time to think about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this is, of course, facts matter. And this is where we're trying to get the facts from the VA so we can help guide policy. Because one of the things that Concerned Veterans does on our side is we talk to legislators to help develop policy to improve the options and choices that veterans have for health care. But if you're not getting the transparent data, you can't make good policy. So we are very highly concerned that the VA is potentially building another example of 2014 where veterans were dying for lack of care.
Yeah, okay. So I get why veterans would be flocking to Arizona or Florida, but why do we have so many in Montana and West Virginia? What, because you imagine when people retire, whether they've served or not, they usually go to Arizona or Florida, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
So having served 20 years, though, what you find is most of the people who serve in the military, they tend to come from rural communities. So that's probably why you see that.
Yeah, that could be. Okay, so we have a very good working relationship with the VA Center. Matter of fact, we just had a brand new VA Center built in Cape Girardeau, and it's absolutely beautiful. And the John J. Pershing Center is in Poplar Bluff. So there's a lot of access to care in our immediate area, but that's not everywhere.
Well, let's think about this. So they build these facilities to provide the access to care, but if the access to care takes more than 30-minute drive time for a general practitioner or for somebody to go to basically like a mental health, like I gave the example, if it takes more than 30 minutes to drive to that clinic, because less than a minute, Montana is a very large state.
Yeah.
So, they are eligible to go into their local community care program and get that access in their town without having to travel. And it's not anything against the VA. We look at healthcare when it comes to the VA as being predominantly for the option that's best for the veteran. We're not concerned about the VA, we're concerned about the veteran. And that's why we want choice. And information leads to choice.
It does. And you probably keep hearing the things going. This is people asking questions. I'm kicked off Facebook, so they're sending me messages that you can see otherwise. God forbid I post a joke. But anyway, they want to know that where this is listed somewhere where this is happening, because we cited 2014 and we know we had some problems with the VA back in the day. We get it. There's been a new head. Things have changed quite predominantly really since 2014. Is it better now, or are we still dealing with the same?
So it was getting better. So in 2018, the bipartisan law was signed in called the Mission Act, and then subsequently the Community Cares program came out, and things did start to get better. But then when the pandemic hit, the government went back to the way the government always does, and it is understood by us that potentially, purposely, the manipulation of wait time data and stuff evidence, all these problems, but it also, we know that the VA basically scaled back the Community Cares program. And the way you can find this out is if you look at the VA's own audits from the 2019 to 2020 VA audit, their annual audit, if you look at the VA annual or the VA audit to their COVID response, you'll find that they also document these suggestions. Matter of fact, the Secretary of the VA himself, before Congress, talked about how there's approximately 20 million canceled, delayed, or moved appointments. Then you can look at the GAO, the Government Accountability Office, and there's two reports, one on the VA's response to COVID, and then the second one is on the Community Cares program. And they specifically talk about how the VA has had problems and not provided care to the veterans. So there's lots of data and lots of proof that there are issues, but we want specific information in reference to the wait time data so we can bring that forward and suggest how to properly implement the Community Cares program.
So the American First Prosperity's FOIA request isn't just saying, the VA sucks, we want a better VA, blah, blah, blah. They're saying, show us the information so we can make comparisons to make sure that improvement is happening for these veterans.
Absolutely. So one of the things that we're very proud of is that we partner with congressional leaders to build better legislation that has to get veterans the care they need. So as an example, if you look at Congressman Greg Steube, he has great legislation. He's from Florida, and he's a veteran himself, and his legislation would provide more choice to veterans. Well, we take the data and information from veterans. We're very much a bottom-up organization, and we provide that through our senior advisors and our legislative leaders here in Washington, D.C., to work with the congressmen and women to get good legislation. And it is working. I mean, we are seeing bills that have been filed, like Congressman Steube's, It's H.R. 364. It's 3 pages, a congressional bill that is only 3 pages.
Wow.
It's very clear. It's very concise. It's very simple to understand. And this is what we take when we find information like this. This is why this lawsuit matters. This is why people need to be calling their congressional leaders and ask them, have you heard about this lawsuit?
Yeah, everybody should be doing that. I am the one person who is probably the loudest in this area about veterans, and I think cops and people who work in the criminal facilities like prisons and whatnot should never have to pay for health care ever, anywhere, ever. They have served their countries. They should get free housing and free medical everything because of the commitment and sacrifice that they've done. But everyone thinks I'm nuts for saying that. But that is the one group of people who I really feel are entitled to everything. And they should be able to go to any dang doctor they want if they're feeling something that is that pressing.
Well, when you think about this, you go back to the history of the VA, why it was created. It was created because there was a lack of options for veterans to get care. And it was created, basically the first programs for veterans were basically really created after the Civil War with so many veterans who had, wounds and from battle. And then it slowly created into the VA healthcare system we know. So the intention is great intention. Sadly, it is historically still done the same way. They build a facility, you come see us. The choice and option that you and I have going outside of the VA for your general practitioner, so if you go to a doctor and you don't like that doctor, you just go pick yourself another doctor. You pick yourself another specialist. You go someplace else. You shop around. Veterans don't have that choice for the most part, and that's what we want to do. We want to provide the choice that provides the best health care for the veteran.
Okay. Yeah, I just had a veteran say I get great care from the VA. I have no complaints. And that does happen a lot. So that's great. We're not saying there's 100% failure here. We're not saying there's a 20% failure here. We're just trying to get the information to make sure that everybody is actively doing what they are obligated to do when it comes to care for the veterans. That's pretty much it.
Well, my message to that veteran, because I have to tell you, I'm 30% disabled. I go to my veterans clinic. I have very little issues that I have to deal with, and they treat me great. I get my annuals and everything. Mm-hmm. So the biggest problem we have is that veterans who get great care don't realize that there needs to be that same exact service to every single veteran. That's the problem. If you don't have every single veteran getting the same service, then the system is broken.
That's basically what we want to happen, and the FOIA can make that happen so we can make the comparisons and get it fixed. Jimmy T. Smith, Director of the Florida CVA. It is a AFP FOIA response, and we just want a commitment to transparency when it comes to how our veterans are being helped through the VA, and I don't think that's too much to ask for, Jimmy. Thank you for being on the show today.
God bless you, ma'am. Thank you.
You too, and thank you for your service.